Hey guys, thanks for tuning into another episode of Friends with Death Benefits. Tonight we're going to be talking about letting go of stuff, what that means, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Hey, Justin.
Hi. I'm kidding. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not that bummed out. I'm just
No.
teasing.
You're wearing your green shirt today.
It's a green shirt, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
how many green? How many hues of green do you
You're
have?
not ready to go down that rabbit hole.
I am curious.
What you should do probably is just Google how many different shades of $4.94 shirts does Walmart have, and that's how many I have.
Okay.
I've got them all.
Okay.
I haven't worn the pink one.
It doesn't say Deckers on it, does it?
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
did hear they're having a tent sale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Word on the street.
That's
But yeah, no, yeah. I wear a lot of darker hues, but sometimes you gotta,
I gotta brighten it up a little.
Yeah.
It is spring. Spring has sprung.
yeah.
It
Here we
has-
are, sprung and spring.
I am feeling sprung. That's for sure. That's for sure. I just got back from Texas.
Yeah, we took a week off there.
Yeah.
Took a little vacation.
Needed
Went and
to
seen
live-
a long lost uncle.
Yeah, I did. I went. My mom's brother. His name's Chris. We call him Butch. Lives in Wiley, Texas, and I've only met him. I met him when I was little, but I don't remember that. And then when my grandmother passed away, he came up, and that's when we met as an adult. And yeah, we hit it off, and he's kind of a squirrely fella, and I can appreciate it. So I went down there and hung out with him, and went to a minor league baseball game. That was pretty sweet. It's great down there.
Yeah.
It's so great down there. It's colorful, like culturally colorful. Like it's so nice to see other colors other than white and the occasional, maybe light skinned.
But aren't the white people like extra oppressive though down there?
No, not in the liberated area
yeah, not in the hood you were in.
No.
Not a lot of yeehaw going
Not
on.
a lot of that does exist there.
Sure.
That is for sure. But we're in the more liberal section. So
Nobody
that was kind of nice.
Nobody was folding their belt buckle down to eat dinner on it. Or
No,
anything.
I did ask about it though. I was like, so when are we gonna see some real super hardcore Republican shit?
Right? Some real balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Fucking no.
Like, no, you didn't. Like, I was worried about wearing my mask, like that
Yeah.
I was gonna get called a libtard and
Sure.
things like that. But a lot of people were. I'd say it was half and half, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Had some of the most amazing tacos ever.
Did you get them at a gas station?
No,
That's the best
Should
tacos.
you do that?
Yeah, the best
so
tacos.
You hear the
At gas
confidence in
stations
his voice when
Yeah,
he said
did
that?
you get it at a gas station? Like,
No, like you missed out on an extreme opportunity.
okay, well, where? What?
Any gas station that has I'm going to mess up the word for it, but it's a special name for a taco stand at a gas station.
Okay.
Like a taquero or a
Okay.
taquero or something along those
I've never
lines.
heard of this. Now I want to look for it.
It's
Yeah.
it's like tacos to gas stations in Texas are what pizza is to Casey's here.
Yeah,
Oh,
basically.
okay.
Yeah, except for if each Casey's did pizza a little bit
Their own
differently.
authentic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can totally appreciate that. I feel bad that I even snickered at that, but
Yeah,
I'm
no,
here
it's
for that.
legit. Like
Okay.
the worse the gas station looks, like the more bars on the windows,
Oh, okay.
and
the better the taco.
the clothing description, which is allowed inside,
Oh, ooh, I
the
like
better
that.
the tacos
Okay.
are going to be.
Okay.
Listen,
I'm here
The
for that.
quicker you lock the doors to your car when you get out of it, the better the tacos are going to be.
So the risk is worth the reward.
Yes.
Okay, I
Yeah.
like it. Okay.
Tiff, look deep into that mullet. Does that look like the haircut of a guy that would not take tacos seriously?
No, it's a
Especially
mullet.
gas station tacos.
Yeah, do you feel
That is a mullet.
you
I
feel a
trust.
little silly now?
Dude, I feel
Yeah?
just straight up
Sure,
dumb.
yeah.
I'm embarrassed.
Well,
I'm embarrassed.
don't be sorry, just be better.
Got it. Noted. Totally noted. I did have an interesting experience on my way back from the airport I wanted to share with you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a bleeding heart, I see people in trouble and I can't help but intervene because I have control issues.
Hence, here we are.
And here we are, this
Look at our
goddamn
friendship.
podcast. Anyway, so I'm heading back from Des Moines, and I see this guy on the side of the interstate, and he is like but like no car anywhere to be seen, right? So he's just in the center of the interstate, flailing for help. Arms flailing. He's got a backpack on, like a blanket, and like a little duffel bag with probably some body parts in it. I don't know. And he's flailing for help, and I can't help but stop. Okay, so I pull over. Traffic's like 80 miles an hour, like zoom, 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 right past me. I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get smacked by a car. Not once did I ever think I'm gonna be slain by like this vagrant, right?
Yeah, well, it's nice to think that like if you get hit by a car, at least you won't be alive when he starts to eat you. Is the thing, so.
Oh, okay. I didn't even. Yeah, I have no fear response, and
Yeah,
that's
no,
it's
yeah.
concerning to me. So I pick him up
As you do.
as I do, and he's just a mess. He's just crying. I mean, he's not dirty or anything like that, but he's crying, and he's telling me that he's trying to escape these people. And I was like, okay. I was like, where are you going? He said, I'm trying to get to Duluth. I was like, I'm not going to Duluth.
Georgia or Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah, which they both are in the same distance to me
You're
because
a-
I'm not going there, man.
You're a skip from the boundary waters there, Holmes.
Yeah, that's a jaunt. So I was like, I'm going to Mason City. I can take you that far or whatever. I can get you at least to safety, whatever. So he's erratic. He's panicking.
And then did you say, but I totally don't live there if that's what you think. That's not my town at all.
Yeah. No, I totally live somewhere else, which in retrospect would have been probably good to.
Maybe pulling off at Clear Lake, maybe. You know?
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
I'm just
Thornton. Just be like,
I'm
"Here."
not good at
Still a
set.
nice thing, you know?
Still good.
Compromise with yourself a little, maybe, for your own safety.
Take him all the way to Charles City. So anyways, so we start driving a little bit, and I kind of get him calm down, and get his name and his age and all that stuff. And he finally says that was running from Scientologists. So I'm like, I'm fully in now. I was like, oh shit. I was like, I just got done with Lisa Remini's book. Are we being chased? Because this is awesome.
Oh, man, don't get too
So,
deep.
but he's also like obviously paranoid schizophrenic. So it's
That's what Tom Cruise wants you to think.
Oh my God, the celebrities. The celebrity like entity in the Scientology world is crazy. So then I just let him basically talk for 2 hours. And I have some friends that work in the crisis field. And so I called a couple of them, and they're like, well, there's nothing we can really do for him tonight, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I'll take him to the shelter. So I'm going to take him to the shelter, which is like very near where I live, very near where you live also.
Thanks.
So you're welcome.
Cool.
Dude is not a violent human being at all.
Obviously.
He's just a broken
Had
person.
an opportunity to
He had an
take advantage
opportunity
of
to
it.
murder, rape, and pillage, and he didn't.
at least-
It's probably because he didn't know how to drive stick.
That's, yeah, a little
It's-
intimidating.
yeah.
Really puts a wrench in the
Yeah, it
gears.
does. It's a getaway car. You're gonna need that.
You had too small of a trunk.
I drive a Jeep, so he strapped me to the hood. So, anyways, I drop him off. I, wish him luck, whatever. And then the next day, my friend who works in the crisis field also has access to police reports and stuff. So I was just like, I wonder if my buddy, so and so made it to Duluth or not. And so she sends me a
Orta
screenshot.
County.
Yeah, Orta County sends me a screenshot of this police report. So old boy had decided that he was going to go up to Central Park. I don't know if it was Sunday, and I don't know. I think the charge said it was littering, which is crazy because he had nothing with him. Littering, but also he invited himself to a graduation party at the Chamber of Commerce, which is just absolutely the most amazing thing to me
Awesome.
because
You did that.
I know. And like I couldn't be more proud because anytime you can take the opportunity to just totally fuck up some white collar shit, I'm here for it. So thank you, John David. Thank you for making
What
My-
better time to crash a party, though, in the age of masks?
I know, right?
Because you can just blend in like, oh, I'm so-and-so. Yeah. I was your neighbor,
I don't even I'm sure he wasn't wearing a mask, but
And you brought this person from Texas?
no, I brought
Oh.
him from Des Moines.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, and I'm thinking to myself, because initially I was just like, oh my God, I brought this freaking vagrant into our town. Oh, drat.
Oh, shucks.
Shoot.
Just unleash chaos on your own
I know,
community.
I know, it feels kind of liberating. And then I heard the thing about the chamber thing, and I don't know. It just brought me a level
I'm
of joy.
helping.
Level of joy. So basically what I'm trying to say is I plan to help more.
I guess my question about the whole thing is like, so do the Scientologists know he's here? Because that's a problem.
Now they do. There's a police report.
Shit.
And a podcast.
We don't need Tom Cruise coming here and shutting our show down.
But don't we kind of want? That's
Well-
good. That's good publicity. I don't care.
Did you? Yeah. Do you think it's funny till he wanders from Central Park down a little farther north, and all of a sudden you're outside your driveway and he sees you and goes, good to know.
This one's not an impossible mission.
Yeah.
But I will say, everybody's safe because he made it somewhere else. He got a bus ticket.
Yeah, everyone. I was gonna say everyone in Des Moines is safe. I don't know.
No,
He removed.
he was a non-violent human being,
Yeah.
but
having a lot of struggles.
but a lot of struggle and yeah.
All
just-
jokes aside, a very nice but risky thing of you to do to
I
help a person
know,
along
I
a little
know.
ways.
But I would hope that if I were in an erratic state running from Scientologists with some paranoid schizophrenia, that somebody was kind enough to see that I am not a violent criminal. I will trash your parks. I will show up uninvited to your graduation parties because that is shit I would do.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to hurt you. I might hurt your feelings. So that was my adventure.
That's what you've been up to.
That's what I've been up to. Yeah.
Wild.
But it was kind of a little bit of a reminder of like, you know, things could get worse.
Yeah.
You know, things could be worse. People are in bad spots.
Well, I always like, to keep things really interesting and kind of on the edge of our seats with the show. So, John David, come on in.
Oh God, the hair on the
Just
back
kidding.
of my neck.
Yeah, that had the exact effect I was hoping for. But
And also, if you're a listener of the show and it was your kids' graduation party, I truly am sorry.
yeah,
But
How many hors d'oeuvres did he get before you found out?
Right.
so awesome.
How
much
of those
punch?
mints did he get in his pocket?
Come on, man, just let him have a sandwich.
That's right.
You graduated.
That's right.
He didn't probably.
I don't know. He had a super high IQ,
Yeah.
like super high IQ.
Did you test him on the way, or was it?
I mean, just like
you just could tell.
You can just
Yeah.
tell.
I thought maybe you, like, knew
and
his
actually,
numbers.
people who are like, I found people who have really bad. When you pair early childhood trauma with a high intelligence, it is a formula for a disaster, and it's usually ends up with drugs and super risky behavior and psychosis and stuff. And I mean, it's just like how beautifully he could articulate and like everything
Interesting.
that was like going on. He's just like, I don't know. I could go into that for a long time, but anyway, let's talk about Hallmark. What's new with Hallmark?
Oh,
Anything
man.
new with Hallmark?
Well, while you were in Texas,
Do they have a sorry for crashing your graduation card?
they should.
Ooh.
Sorry, I came to your grad party without knowing you, but I'm homeless. Deal with it.
Love it.
I also graduated.
Yeah,
Go to college.
man. Sorry, this lady I don't know brought me 2 hours from where you're at, and I ended up in a park near your party and showed up uninvited.
Why does this keep coming back to me?
These are strangely specific for a dollar store. I spent the week changing all the Mother's Day cards from that to graduation and Father's Day. So
Okay.
it was somewhat cathartic just throwing Mother's Day cards away, just being done with it. But it was a lot of long days of still just like staring at like mom, like after it was already done with, like it already happened. And then I just got to spend the whole next week just like rubbing my face in it
Oh yeah.
like a dog that peed on the carpet. It just wasn't. But the funnest part of the week had to be just a couple days ago. I was standing at the Dollar Tree like I do early in the morning and just putting cards away, and I hear these two ladies in the aisle next to me speaking to each other, and one of them goes, "Well, they're men, so they're not going to be able to do it anyways." And the other one goes, "Yeah, I'm so sick of men. They can't do nothing right. They can't figure out anything for themselves. Next one I see, I'd like to just slap right in the mouth. And then she immediately comes around the corner and makes eye contact with me, and she goes, "Oh." And I went, "Yep." And I just kept on with what I was doing. And she was bluffing. That bitch didn't hit me at all. It wasn't. And then her friend came around the corner, and she was like one of them ladies that was so big she needed the jazzy that she was on.
Oh,
it wasn't
okay.
like a fake job. Like she definitely, there was no walking around that dollar store.
Got it.
And I was like, this is mean, but you ain't catching nobody to hit them. And you need to just calm down with the attitude and generalizing my entire sex. I don't like that. Such is the life of the dollar store
I love
greeting card clerk.
I love your stories.
Oh, you can't write this stuff.
It's so good.
Can you imagine what a clerk there sees in a day?
Oh my God.
Like you're there
that's-
for how many hours? 1 or 2?
Usually during these switchover weeks, I'm there for like 9 hours.
And
at
they're
one
there
store.
8
Oh, dang,
hours.
really?
Yeah.
Every
It's like
day.
one store a day, just me. Just
Oh wow.
it's real tedious and not fun at all. And just
Can
like,
you put headphones in and just like jam?
No, you didn't think so. Nope, can't do that.
Oh, wow.
Nope, because I got to be there to answer questions about stuff that I don't have anything to do with from people that want to treat me a lot more disrespectful than they have any right to do. You know? So,
Why do they got Canadian prices on this card? This is America.
yeah.
Oh,
And
man.
then, so I had a big comedy weekend. Friday, I was in Minneapolis. I got to do a big room up there. A comic from up there was recording his album and asked us to feature as openers for
Yeah.
it. And so sold out crowd. That was really cool. And then Saturday we did a bar show about an hour south of Chicago, which was pretty cool. And then Sunday we did Des Moines. And in between Chicago area and Des Moines, we stopped at the big I-80 Mall of America truck stop.
Oh yeah.
And I got Wendy's at 1 a.m. because the glamorous life of a road comic.
Yeah.
And got home the next morning, got up, realized I don't have my wallet.
Oh.
I was 2 places. The Wendy's at the truck stop 4 hours from home.
Yeah.
And I stopped at a dark exit just outside of Charles City at 4 a.m. because I wasn't going to make it that last half hour. And I had to do the holy
yeah,
shit,
right.
I'm going to pass out and kill
Right.
everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so Alyssa jumps in the car and is like, I'm just gonna go to that exit. I had to get to practice with the band because we have that coming up
Right.
too.
Yeah.
And I called the truck stop and I'm like, hey, I was there at 1 a.m. I was like, did anybody turn in a wallet? And he's like, what's your name? What's in it? And I was like, my whole life, my cards, everything. I was like a significant amount of cash because all my money from all my shows all weekend.
Mm.
I'd just done 20 hours on the road and I'm thinking I just threw all that money
Oh my God.
away.
I'd be sick.
I lost it. I broke down. There might have been tears. And
Yeah.
people listening are like, of course there were tears. We know you now. But they're like, yeah, we got it. And I'm like, it's there and everything. They're like, yep. And I was like, can you mail it to me? And they're like, not till tomorrow. I'm like, cool. That works fine. So it hasn't gotten to me yet. But
Oh.
I mean, that was going to be a bit much.
Oh my gosh.
I'm hopeful it shows up in one piece
That
and all the money's
feeling
there.
of oh no doubt.
Are they
Right.
sending it certified?
Yeah, he said
Okay,
they were
good.
gonna do it.
Did you ask him to look in it to see if
Well, yeah, he goes, "What's in it?" And I go, I was
significant
like,
amount
I go,
of cash?
significant amount of cash, and he's like, "Okay, yep, we got it." And I was like, "Okay, it's all there." And he's like, "Yep." And I'm like,
Okay.
"All right."
Well, we took a cut.
Yeah. He'll be like, "I don't know what happened. I sent it in the mail. It had everything in there. I don't know. The mailman must have done it. One of those in between here and forever. Good luck figuring that out." Pew, pew. Thanks, bro. Oh,
Oh, thank God though. What a helpless feeling.
it was. I also had my first experience with a big city green room, comedy club type situation. Usually we do bar shows. Here's the table we'll hang out at
Yeah.
till we go up front. And this is there was a green room, which was crazy. And it was this guy's fairly prominent up there that was throwing this show. So a lot of other fairly prominent Minneapolis comics were hanging out back there, even ones that weren't on the show. And there was one guy who got tossed on last minute, a big enough name that he's like, "Can I get a guest spot?" And they're like, "Yeah, you bet." So he was on there and he was hanging out. And ahead of time, I looked him up, and he had an album on Spotify. I'm like, because he's that big of a deal, you know. He's like, so I check it out. And I listen to it because I love comedy. That's why I got into it. And we got in there, and they're all just like, "Oh, you're those Iowa guys, huh?" We're like, yeah, man, super excited to be here. And they're like, I'm sure. Like, and it
Oh.
went from like them patronizing us to pretty much acting like we weren't in the room. Like we'd say stuff and they'd brush right past it. And then I told the dude, I said,
Some high
hey
school
man,
bullshit.
yeah. And I told the dude, I go, and they're talking to each other like, so what do you got on the schedule? And the one guy's like, I got like one show in September and then I'm doing the club here in town in like July. And I'm like, dude, we got 11 shows in the next 3 weeks. Like, but ours doesn't count.
Right.
You know, because we don't have skyscrapers in our area, and
Right.
and it's this elitist bullshit. And
Yeah.
I go, but I told him, I go, hey man, I was like, heard you were on the show. I checked out your album today. Very funny stuff. This one joke in particular I thought was really great.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, oh, yeah, don't say that kind of stuff next time. And I'm like, what does that even mean?
What?
I go, dude, I was
What?
like, I was a fan of comedy way before I was a comedian. I was like, if it's not cool to compliment people, I was like, I guess I'm not gonna fit in.
Are they in their
You know?
20s?
Is that what
How
you
old?
said?
Yeah. I was just like, you know, I'm like, cause I'm not gonna bullshit with these guys. I got,
Yeah.
you know, you've seen my hairline. I ain't got time for that. Those days are over. But I just was like, so me and Jake were both like, we're over it. So we went out in the showroom like we always do, and it's like we're not gonna hang out back here. We're gonna go watch
Yeah.
the show because we're fans, and that's what it's about. And
Ew, dude.
yeah, it's gross.
Ew.
hmm And that's fine because
Yeah.
I told Jake, I was like, our minutes will speak for themselves, and we
For
got
sure.
we were just as funny as anybody else on the show. There
Yeah.
was no, oh, you guys aren't from here, or you're not from a big
Yeah.
city, so.
What did any feedback from the club owner?
Yeah, I mean,
from-
everybody seemed, all the important people seemed really impressed. We
Okay.
did what we were asked to do. We did it efficiently, and it's a little different than we're used to, you know, where it's
Yeah.
like, here's 8 minutes.
Yep.
Don't run it. You know, like it's very like,
yeah, be on time. Yep.
thank you for the time. It's very
Yeah.
old school, like
Yeah. Right.
pecking order type.
Yep.
And I'll play that game if I need to,
Yeah.
when I need to, but because I just want the opportunities. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I know what I'm capable of on stage, so just put me up there. I'll make
Yeah.
people laugh.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, the difference in.
Now, if you meet, let's say, one of your comedy heroes,
Yeah.
is that going to make you gun shy to
Ooh, good
compliment
question.
him?
No, because I'm just not that dude. You know what I mean?
You're not going to worry about it. You're like,
I've
oh,
just
you're
always
a dick
been,
too.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And if it happens, that's unfortunate. You know, that whole don't
Yeah.
meet your heroes thing. But yeah, no, I feel like I don't get that like starstruck thing.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I've met a few pretty famous people, but like I figure people want to be treated like people.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day,
Mhm.
except for the crazy ones that, you know, want to be like looked at like on like god-like level, but like
But I think like that green room of people are those people.
It will
They are
just-
elitists.
well, that's
or
the
they-
thing is it's like it just reeks of insecurity.
I
There's
couldn't
this
agree
like
more.
there's this like built-in mentality in those types of scenes where it's like anyone that's not you is coming for your spot. If someone's funnier than you, that means you're less funny.
Mhm.
If you're, you know, if you act like you care about any of this, then you're not cool.
Mm.
And it's like they're all just like biting their lip because they feel like they have to play this
Ew,
character. And like
yeah.
we just showed up like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
What's up? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
still some jokes.
Yeah,
Let's do this shit.
yeah, I'm super pumped, man.
Did you guys know they got free food over there?
Right,
Look
yeah.
at that.
It's crazy. Got snacks.
It's not
Yeah.
even corn.
So yeah, I mean, as we become more and more farther down the road, we'll
Yeah.
encounter more and more of that, I'm
Yeah.
sure. But
But I think the
it just makes me even more not want to be that guy.
totally consistency, man.
yeah.
Consistency is key. You got to be the same person.
Because then we did Sunday night at the club we do in Des Moines is so the Funny Bone's been around forever.
Yeah, I love
they
that
will
place.
not book locals. They don't touch them with a 10-foot pole.
Okay.
They hire in hosts from like other states
Mhm.
through like an agency that they don't mess around. And these guys opened up this club and they support local comedians. They host a comedy class. They have open mics. If a local comic has an idea for a show, Sid, the owner, will be like, yeah, here's a night, run it, see how it goes.
Mhm.
No promises on the money, but
Yeah.
see what you're worth. You
Good
know
practice,
what I mean?
yeah.
And get your people to come in. We'll see what happens. And it's super cool. And he's super cool. And he's an Indian immigrant. He's first generation Indian immigrant. Super awesome guy. And he kind of pulled us aside and was like, I can totally tell that you guys do all this for the right reasons. And that it just like makes me really happy to like see guys like you that appreciate comedy and like all the glitz and glamour and bullshit aside. And he's like, we have so many bigger comics that come in here and just big dick attitude us and
Yeah.
like act like they're too cool. And he's like, you guys just remind me why I even started this place.
That's
and
awesome.
like, it made me totally forget about the whole Minneapolis thing.
Yeah.
Because if nothing else, other than being funny, that's the reputation that I
Totally.
want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yes. Good for you, man.
mm.
I'm number one fan. Number one fan
Oh.
over here. Oh, I know. Shocking. Oh.
Was that a compliment?
I know. I'm feeling generous.
I'm waiting for the backhand.
John David
But
taught me a lot about humility.
Tom Cruise is watching, and we need to be nicer to people.
Oh, 100%.
But
So I thought tonight we would, not to like totally switch gears, but we're gonna. I thought we would talk a little bit about clinging to and letting go.
yeah,
So like, because we've been talking a little bit,
we have.
and Mother's Day is now behind us. So, whew,
Another one down.
yeah. But we've been talking to things that like are more symbolic to us now, that maybe we weren't as, attached to before. And also like when we were talking a couple of days ago, like sometimes I think we cling to things because parts of us are starting to let go of some of this. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Or like we're starting to, maybe it's acceptance, maybe. So we're clinging to things more, like Justin is more, you're more attached, you're more sentimental to things, now that your mom's gone. And I feel that same way about some things about Ethan. Probably not quite as much as like you, as far as you goes with Deneen. But so yeah, I thought maybe we would just talk about your experience, and Joe can even chime in on this a little bit.
Sure.
Our experiences of like clinging to things, and then what does it look like about letting go of those tangible things,
plenty
and
of
like
thoughts about that for sure. One thing I just thought of, and because my short-term memory leaves something to be desired, that I want to say that to get out of the way. So we did the Mother's Day episode, and then we took that week off because you were down there messing with Texas.
Yeah.
And so the night of that we recorded the Mother's Day episode, Joe's wife called me when I got home. It was like 10:30 at night. For those that don't know, Joe's a workaholic, and after we do the show, he just keeps working and working at the studio. And so you must have called your wife and kind of told her about the episode that you sat in on, and something must have resonated with her because, we had talked about how she lost her mom several years ago. And I know your wife. We've known each other several years, but it's safe assumption to say that like me and you know each other a lot better than me and Bailey know each other. Passing friends. That being said, she called me just because she just felt the urge. She called me once, and I was almost ready for bed, and I was like, I kind of just brushed it off, and then she called right back, and then I was like, well, shit, that's kind of weird. What if Joe's in trouble? Like, and I was just the last one with him, so I better not ignore that. This is kind of a weird situation. So I answered, and she goes, oh my God, I can't believe this worked. Because she was calling me through Facebook, and I was like, what's up? And the conversation started with her just kind of letting me know that, she understood a lot of what I was going through, and a lot of the stuff that I felt she was still feeling a decade later. And if I ever wanted to just vent to anybody or just be like, this sucks, to someone that gets it, that she's let me know that she'd always be a shoulder. And I thought that was really cool. And it turned into like an hour-and-a-half conversation. And like, we just sat and talked about all the, the crud. And I just wanted to, because I know she listens, I wanted to thank her for that. I thought that was super cool. And she also voiced to me she'd be interested in coming on and talking to us too.
Oh,
so
yeah. That'd be awesome.
whenever she wants to do that, let her know. We'd love to do that. So shout out to Bailey for sure.
That's awesome.
So
she had mentioned it was good for her to
I think
too,
both of us. I think it was just a good, one of those conversations. You know what I mean? It was good.
Yeah.
Unexpected, I'm sure on both of our ends, but
That's so great.
that's how those things usually work out.
So great.
But as far as we were to go back to what you're talking about, I feel like I've had a lot of those. The letting go thing is kind of tough for me because I am definitely like a clingy, like, I wouldn't say I have hoarder tendencies, but like I don't even like throwing stuff away that's just of no use. You know what I mean?
That's the definition of hoarder.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Like green shirts.
I mean the show hoarders. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna find like
Okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
You know what I mean? You don't have to create hallways of garbage in my house to like.
Okay.
But like obviously the big one, which I've talked about lots, is the house. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I have these thoughts of if I lose this house that was my grandma's and my mom's and that was supposed to be mine, it's like the last thing. You know what I mean? And I feel like almost like I failed a little bit. Like I didn't, even though I have no power over it, like I let it go and I wasn't able to do anything to save it. And that's the big one for sure that I think about a lot. But it trickles down to little things. Like anything that has to do with her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in any way, like I subconsciously have a hard time letting go of that. Like there's probably a big part of that is why my 2001 Chevy Cavalier has been sitting in my driveway for going on 6 years now, because especially this last year, because I could sell it and get a couple $100 out of it, but it was the car my mom bought me for graduation.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to sit in the driveway, whether I want to admit that out loud or not.
Okay.
And or like there's, so this is something we had talked about. Right by my driveway there's a lilac bush. Been there my whole life. And my mom was super into lilacs. She really liked the way they smelled, and she would always say that they smelled like purple. And I was like, Mom, you can't smell colors. And she's like, well, that's
Wait till you get older.
She goes, lilacs
Right.
are proof. Yeah. I was like, I don't know what kind of acid you're taking, Mom,
Yeah.
but she's like, lilacs are proof because it smells like purple. That's what purple
Yeah.
smells like. And in a weird way, I couldn't argue with her because I kind of got it. You know what I mean? It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And so that's always a thing, you know, for me. Like, and even Alyssa now, like whenever we smell them, it's like, oh, I smelled purple. Did you smell that?
Mhm.
And
That's so cool.
so I have this bush in right by my drive, and you know, on a good day you catch a whiff of it and stuff. But another thing I didn't know till a few years ago was lilacs, if you pick the flower, it won't grow from that spot again. Like it doesn't kill
Yeah, I
the
did-
tree, but so if you ever see a lilac bush that doesn't have very many flowers on it, it's because somebody's picked them.
That would explain the lilac bush in my backyard is only about as tall as my kids can reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And then
Yeah.
above,
Yeah.
no, literally, that's
Yeah.
it's about
I
4
didn't know
feet
that
and above. It's
until-
blooming.
Yeah.
And below that, it's
Yeah.
green leaves.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, for
Interesting.
good, that's just it. That's like you pick it, and that's history for that that bud.
Yeah.
And so over the years, like I said, this house has been, I don't know how long that tree's been there, but I remember it as a kid, and I remember picking them off for my mom, and I remember talking about it plenty over the years. And now there's probably like 5 clusters of flowers left on it. And I came home the other day and I kind of looked at it and had like a moment of like, you know, those are the last ones. All the other ones have been picked off. And I got to thinking about like, if I end up losing this house, is this the last summer that I'll even be, this tree will be mine?
Mm.
And I thought like, you know, that took a minute. And then I thought like to myself, like, you know, like, okay, like I have it now. I'll try to appreciate it. And then like my father-in-law came over, and he meant well. His heart was in the right place, but he mowed our yard, and along our fence, we have a lot of like random little baby trees and stuff. And it grows in the summer and kind of creates like a nature fence between us and Douglas, the weird neighbor, and which I like. It's my favorite season for a lot of reasons. That's
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah.
And he chopped all that down, including the entire lilac tree.
Oh.
Yeah. That's heavy. Yeah.
And like, I didn't know it was, at first we pulled in and just like, I didn't know who did it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like everything's like chopped. There's like just trees in our chopped down in our yard. And so Alyssa calls her dad right away. And it's just like, did you come and you fuck with the yard? And he tried to be funny, you know, like, no. And she's like, I need to know, because if Darwin came here
Right.
and is messing around, we got calls to make.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it was me. And she's like, you chopped down the lilac bush. And he's like, oh, I didn't know. He's like, it'll grow back. And I'm like, it really wasn't the point, you know? And like, I couldn't be mad at him because he didn't mean anything by it. So I had all this like misplaced like angst about it. And I went out. The only thing I could think to do was I went out and I like picked up all these big branches of trees, and I found like those 5 flowers. I was able to tell you this story earlier without crying.
Oh, it's okay. It's all right.
But I picked the flowers that were there and I took them inside and I put them in a vase and I figured I'd at least enjoy them.
Yeah.
Well, and you can press them too.
Yeah, I think they're almost toast now at this point because it's been a few days. But you know, that's better than just letting them die in the yard.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was what seems silly. You know, little flowers was pretty heavy, and little things like that are popping up all the time. You know.
Yeah. I definitely feel like the universe is pushing you into this letting go
What a dick.
area. Yeah, for sure. But
Well, like there, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
exactly,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
You don't
And-
get to pick and choose.
And sometimes, as shitty as it feels, I feel like the universe sort of throws that at us because will we ever be ready? Will
Right.
Justin ever be ready? You know? So maybe it's kind of like, okay, well, we're going to throw you in to the deep end and, you know, it's going to force you to let go of some things. It's so yuck. That sucks. I hate that for you. That's heavy. Yeah.
But it was kind of a strange coincidence when I told you that story the other day that you kind of have a connection to those flowers too with Ethan.
Yeah, for sure. Ethan would always pick lilacs for me when he was little. And then when we moved into our house, we have 2 great big lilac bushes in our backyard, which don't bloom very much anymore. And I didn't know that that's why. It's because he had picked them all and given them all to me.
And he was tall, so
Oh, yeah,
there was
super
no
tall.
there was no divide.
No,
there.
no. So so it doesn't really bud anymore. But when he moved out, his apartment forever smelled like lilacs because he would always buy lilac scented air fresheners. Every candle he had in his apartment was lilac scented. In fact, his shirt that he wore the day of the surgery before he changed into his gown that I still have with the sticker on it, you know, patient sticker that I have in a plastic bag, smells like Dirty Boy and lilacs. And that's the smell of my kid is Dirty Boy and lilac. So yeah. So yeah, for me, it's like that t-shirt. So after we talked about the lilac bush, I got to thinking like, will I ever be able to let go of that shirt? Will I ever be able to let go of his clothes that are in my closet that make my closet smell like Dirty Boy and lilacs? You know?
Are you supposed to though?
I don't know.
Because my argument was like, he's supposed to be here,
Right.
so the fucking rules are out the book.
I think that's fair.
I think if things are causing you more grief and harm than good,
Yeah, I think you have to evaluate. I suppose.
then
Yeah.
you do need to try and let go, whether it's
Yeah.
physically let go of them or mentally
Yeah.
let go of them. But if you see it and it brings you a good memory
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's not in the way, like you don't have like a weird shrine
yes.
going on,
Yes.
you know, where you're like, we don't go in that room, you know, or something along those lines,
Yeah.
then no harm, no foul
Mm-hmm.
is what I think.
That's fair. Yeah. And honestly, I feel very blessed in the way that Ethan's bedroom is no longer Ethan's bedroom. Like after he moved out, cause it was just trashed and it smelled and he just trashed it. And so we redid the whole room and now that's Claire's room, which is kind of cool. And so I'm really grateful that I don't have a bedroom that I walk into because when he wasn't home for that year that we weren't speaking, I couldn't even open that door. I was already grieving then and had no concept that I was. So now I'm very grateful that again the universe somehow knew that I could not bear having my child's bedroom. You know, like Rachel that was on the show. You know, Colton's room is the same.
Yeah.
And Brooklyn that was also on the show sleeps in there. You know, and how could you ever get rid of it? How could you ever move out of the house? You know, how could you You know, I don't know. But I think what Joe said is so good, that it's like you really do have to take an evaluation of it, where it's just like, is this just causing me so much more pain than it is joy? And so that t-shirt in that bag, it doesn't make me feel joy, because I know that was the last thing that he wore. But when I take it out of the bag and I smell it, I feel close to him. And so I don't want to let that go yet. But, I feel like at some point I probably will be ready for that. But right now I'm just not. But I also am very careful not to expose myself to it.
Daily? You don't have it
Daily.
like hanging in the hallway?
Right. Yes. Because, and what's interesting about your experience is that you're living in this reminder of this thing. And sometimes I have asked myself many, many times, is this good for him? I don't know that this is good for Justin. Maybe this is a blessing, but I'm not you. And I can't imagine how painful and hard that is.
Can I ask, so you're in your mom's house, the family house for 3 generations now. Are you constantly, and I don't know if triggered is the right word, but like, oh, I remember when mom was here doing this. And then I go into that room and I remember, you don't have that situation?
No.
Okay.
It's been me and my wife for almost a decade.
Okay.
I grew up there. It's I don't know, maybe I don't have a healthy view on some of that stuff. Like, for example, when my grandma died in 2012 is when we moved back in for me. And I still have we still have the same refrigerator, and I still have notes that my grandma had on the side of the fridge to phone numbers that I don't need, just because it's it's insane. But it still kind of feels like my grandma's house in a way. I have my grandma's house. And the same thing with my mom now. I just you'd think I would think about that stuff more. When I was a kid growing up there, my bedroom is her bedroom was when I was a kid. And which is interesting because in my 20s when I lived there, when she was in her teenage years and early 20s, she lived in the basement, and that was my bedroom when I was, it's I pretty much my
Footsteps.
mom is the same path she took through that house I did. And it just feels like it's such a physical thing. It's not a person, but it just feels like the last bit of my family that's still grabbable, so to speak, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if that's a healthy way to look at it or not, but I just, and it has its issues, you know what I mean? It would probably be, in a lot of ways, if I could take the emotion out of it. In a lot of ways, it'd be arguable to be a better idea to bail and start over with my wife somewhere new. It's the foundation is Boeing because of being so close to the train tracks. It's very old. It hasn't been remodeled in many, many decades.
What does Alyssa think? Does she want to start over?
She gets it, and she feels really bad for me.
Without placating to you. What does her want, do you think?
I think she would like to go.
Yeah.
I think she would like to run from it.
Yeah. Start fresh. Heal.
But she doesn't. She worries that I'll see that as her not having my back.
But you don't.
And that's not it. And I've told her that when it comes down the pipe, I'm ready to accept whatever happens. Because I have to. I have no other choice. But I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's not how it was supposed to go.
But we're here now. And that's what you got to tackle now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dumb.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Are they all, excuse me,
No.
positive, negative memories, attachments?
To the house?
A little both?
I mean, I suppose so. I mean, obviously I grew up there with my stepdad who I can't stand. But I don't really have a lot of negative feelings about the place. When I'm able to stop and think about like what leaving would mean in a positive way, like I think about like the thought of him not knowing where I live is pretty cool.
That's
You know what I
pretty
mean? Like that, like just separating, like you don't even know where I'm at
Yeah.
anymore. That's
Yeah.
how far apart we are.
That would be great.
The thought of the adventure of something new.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's tough to weigh that against
Mhm.
the years of. I think about like no one that I'm not related to has ever spent a Christmas in that house, or you know what I mean. Like it's always been ours, and like to just give it to somebody else,
Mm.
it just seems wrong.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Mhm. I just think it's so interesting how we do attach ourselves to
Yeah.
things. You know, like I was talking
Because the house don't care,
no.
you know.
It's just sticks.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. You know, we've talked a lot about moving and you know, starting over and you know, especially right away. Like I remember even driving home from the hospital. You know, it's a 3-hour drive and I'm thinking, I'm moving. I knew as soon as I pulled on our street, the nausea set in because it was like right when you pull into the driveway, Claire's bedroom window faces the driveway, and that was Ethan's room. And I remember the days and nights of pulling in that drive, dreading coming home to that kid because he was just a shit bag. And you know, we had so many moments of just cantankerous, you know, attitude and just it was bad. But you know, I always looked for that light to be on, you know, like he's home and he's safe and that kind of thing. And now, you know, that's Claire's bedroom. And now I look at that bedroom and the light is on and she's home and she's safe. And so I think how weird it will be to not see that. And I remember pulling up on our street thinking, I can't pull. It probably took me 15 minutes to get down the street in my car because I was just dreading pulling into the driveway and looking at that bedroom window, knowing that there was only going to be 3 of us now and not the 4. And just how much of an attachment to this place I had. And like Ethan's car is sitting in the garage right now with the 2 flat tires. It hasn't been ran since, you know, the first day of September. And I don't even know if it will start. And it's like, I'm attached to it, you know, and I don't know. It's weird. It's hard because those things are those tangible things of them.
Yeah. All of a sudden when you don't have them, they take on a different meaning.
Yeah. But I'm also the type of person that I will look at something and I very much evaluate things like, do I need this or do I want this? Do I need this? What purposes is serving me? And so I do look at those things, like the shirt in the bag. I look at those. I look at Ethan's clothes. It's like, Tiff, do you need his underwear? Do you need his underwear? Do you? No, you don't. You know. So I will and have started to let go of some things. But
do you worry that you're disrespecting memories by letting go?
I think that's the initial feeling that I have is just like, if you get rid of this thing, you don't respect the life of this thing or the life of, I guess it translates to the life of this person. But I'm conscious enough to realize like that is not true.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. It has no feeling, it has no attachment to me. You know, the smells, those are different. You know, those are the things that's why I always said for 100 years, you know, like to Kyle, if you die, the one thing I would want to keep in a box forever is your smell. I just want to be, because it's like a hug. It feels like a hug. And so that shirt in the bag, you know, it feels like that. But I do evaluate it and I am present and conscious and thinking of like, this thing doesn't hold any power, you know, but it's hard to like put it in the trash.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, oh, I just put that in the trash. Yeah, that's heavy. That's big. It's really big.
I have like don't even. It's weird. Like another angle of like letting go of like the fact that he has like most of my mom's stuff,
Right.
and I don't even know if what of it he's thrown away,
Mm-hmm.
what of it he's kept, what of it I'll ever see again.
Do you think part of that's, I mean, it's obviously a control issue because, you know, you feel out of control
Mm-hmm.
and you feel out of control that your mom, even when your mom was alive, you didn't have any control over that. And so it has to make you feel out of control thinking, I don't even know where her stuff is or
Right.
what he's throwing. I mean, that just, everything feels out of control.
Or anything of mine she might have kept.
Yeah. Yeah. Old school pictures.
Her whole
and-
life he just has like
Yeah.
captive.
Have you asked for it?
It's not like that. He would do anything and everything he could to make my life worse than it is from whatever point where it's his mission. He hates me and he's the most evil person I've ever met in my entire life. I don't understand it. I've never met anyone like him ever.
Mm.
But so no, that would be just an opportunity for him to,
Dig it deeper.
yeah.
Yeah. Better to protect
It's like,
yourself.
what's that? I have something you want. You absolutely can't have it.
People are just.
In fact, now that I know that you want it,
evil.
I'll probably destroy it and send pictures of me doing it to you. He's that kind of guy. Why? I don't know. I'll never understand it. It's from the time that him and my mom got together when I was 6, I was like competition. You know what I mean? Like with my mom, like if she's paying attention to you, she's not paying attention to me. And that's a problem.
So weird.
So,
Ew. I hate that guy.
yeah.
I really do.
He's pretty awful.
I hate that guy.
But so I don't. Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. The whole. I have a bunch. I'm lucky, I guess, too. When she passed, my sister was able to get a lot of pictures, like
Yeah.
3-4 huge boxes full of pictures from our childhood and of her and her childhood, and like 2-generation old pictures from like black and white pictures of my mom as a baby and shit from the 60s. And
That's pretty cool.
I have that.
That's
And
cool.
that's something. But
Those are like, I'd say, some of the most prized possessions when somebody passes.
yeah,
You know, be able to, because we talked about that the last time. It's like, you know, it's memories. And
I have like
life.
random things that like I don't need, but I have like my grandma decided when my mom was a senior that she was gonna get this giant, like I want to say it's like 20 something by like, it's this huge ass portrait in this huge ornate frame of my mom's senior picture. And it hung on her wall forever, like well into like my teenage years. And my mom was into her 30s, and like my mom's giant senior picture is still hanging on the wall at my grandma's. And I have that, you know,
That's
in the
pretty cool.
frame. It's heavy, you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
like it's like I'll never get rid of it.
No
You know
way.
what I mean?
No way. No. That's cool. That's something, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it doesn't make up for, you know, the Antichrist trying to ruin your life, but you have this is some pretty good artifacts you're hanging on to.
Yeah, it's not all bad, I guess.
What about you, Joe? Do you have like sentimental things like after your buddy passed away, or Bailey after her mom?
I have the flyers from funerals
Oh,
that for some reason I keep, and
you're that guy. My mother-in-law's that way.
she's also that guy.
She is also that guy. Okay.
Do you find yourself falling asleep like a lot in public settings?
That's my
Because
mother.
that's also her mother-in-law. Yeah.
I have those, and for some reason, I don't know. I recently went through a couple of totes and found some old. I don't know what do they call it? Brochure? That's not the right word.
Pamphlet?
Yeah, whatever.
leaflet?
Programs.
Program.
Yeah,
Program. Yeah, program. On tonight's agenda.
Tonight's episode of Funeral.
We'll be singing Ave Maria. No,
Followed by impending sadness.
I wish I still had Alyssa's Brothers. I hope this is Crossroads by Bone Thugs and
Oh
Harmony.
my God, find it. Oh,
I've got that. I've got some stuff from my grandma. A lot of that's at my mom's house. And other than that, I don't have a lot of mementos or things. You know, it's basically just memories and situations and you know, that sort of stuff that I reflect on.
Are you generally not a sentimental guy when it comes to like actual physical things?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think that kind of plays into it a little bit too,
Yeah.
that it's, you know, I keep stuff. We have totes of the kids' things and whatnot that's out of control. But no, as far as like little tokens and stuff like that, it's not something that I've ever
few and far between.
Really done.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I'm trying to think if I have stuff. I don't.
Yeah.
I will say though that like as hard as it is for me to let go of things, once it happens, I'm usually pretty quickly okay with
Feels
it.
good. It
Like-
does feel good. I gotta say. What about Bailey?
We have some stuff of her mom's that is, I mean, pictures obviously, voicemails, which
Oh yes, that's a big one.
and finding if I can share a story, and she might share this when she's on, but finding an old phone and charging it up for 2 days and then being like, I wonder what's on this phone.
Right.
And finding a voicemail from a loved one that's no longer around. And I'm like, okay, I got the wires. I got all the stuff. Let's hook it up. I can clean up the audio and we can make this sound.
Which is so cool that she's married to you when you're able to do all that stuff.
Like CSI sort of like
Yeah.
recovery of
That's
audio.
not something just anybody can do at home. You have that skill, you know. It's
And so, I mean, we have that. And so
I would give anything.
I think about that. I wish I would have like made more like in the age of cell phones. I wish I would have had the thought of mine to make more videos of things and more.
See, I've had the thought of like doing a podcast sort of thing with my parents and with my loved ones that are getting old. You know, like, tell me about your life. Let's record your history.
I love that.
But I don't know how to approach that with them. Like, I think you might die soon. And so I want my kids to know the real story about you.
Yeah.
So before you die.
Yeah, let's archive your life.
Yeah.
I
You know?
love that. That is genius.
I think about that. That thought's crossed my mind a lot. That like I feel like I knew my mom pretty well, but anything I didn't know about her, I'll never know now. You know.
But also, like, part of it is, the mystery is kind of cool at the same time. I mean, you know me, I'm an incurable optimist. But, like, there's some cool things that are a mystery or things that you might unearth in unsuspecting ways. You know, like, I found out while I was in Texas, my mom was into girls for a while. I don't know. I'd like to just be clear. I don't know anything about that woman. I don't know. I do not know my mother at all. She is the most elusive, weird, selfish, undocumented human, you know. And so I'm constantly finding things. But I feel you. Like there's definitely pieces of my life, big pieces of my life, and gaps in time that are missing. That I do hunger for those things. But there is something. And, you know, my mom isn't dead, so I can't speak to this. But, like, there is something that, because she's always been a mystery to me, like, I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? I'm okay with it.
For me, it's almost like I let time run out kind of thing.
Well, can
I
you
get that.
talk to friends of hers, relatives, or is that not really
We
a
don't
situation?
really. That's the weird thing is just, she was adopted, and it's just there's not a lot of people to talk to really anymore.
Can't bring like a 6-pack of Truly and let's sit down and talk.
I just
about
mean
my mom.
there really ain't anyone. You know, unfortunately at this point.
Yeah.
My mom's biological mother and sister are alive, but they don't really want to tell me nothing. That's a whole story, but yeah, I don't know. I wish, you know, I wish that was a thing, especially when, you know, losing mom makes you kind of want to like
Know it all.
know
Wanna
more
know everything.
and especially like cling to the family that's left, like because there's so little on her side. I have a cousin who looks exactly like her, which is pretty wild. you know, because we run into each other and stuff. And it's just like, part of me wishes I was a little closer with them because it's what's left of her, like, especially like, you know, blood, like all the adopted family. They were great. My grandma was great, but they're all gone. They were all old when they got her, you know, so it was, I didn't meet a lot of them, and the ones that were around when I was a kid are gone. And so it's kind of like they're around, but, you know, I'm not going to force myself on anybody. But so it's interesting. It is. It's, like I said, I feel like I knew her well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm like, oh, I never got to know her. Like, I knew her well, but it does cross my mind to think about, like, I'll never be able to ask her a question again.
Yeah. What didn't I know about you? Yeah. I know. I wonder if I'll
Or even what she'll think
feel
about
that.
something, or like anything that comes up. You know, I can't ask her anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks.
It does kind of suck. Death is dumb.
That's the theme.
That's the theme. Yeah. So what does it look like? How does the term letting go, how does that make you feel?
I don't much care for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Like anxious?
but I don't much care for a lot of things that I probably should care more about.
No, you
know
don't
what I
have to
mean?
care about any of it.
It's just, yeah, anxious a little. I don't know,
Yeah.
like in a weird way when you just say it
Mm.
for what it is and you don't think about the context, it's supposed to be freeing, like letting go. You know, like,
Ah, yes.
but like I think about like, these are the things I'm holding on to that are important to me, and I just have to, like that bitch that threw Leo into the ocean in Titanic. You know what I mean? There's room on the door. Let him up there.
They've tested the
Yeah.
theory. He could have survived.
You know, I'm just saying. And obviously that's a horrible analogy for my situation because there was nothing I could do to help my mother. But it's just, yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be good, but it's scary for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Comes down to, I think it is always fear.
Mm-hmm.
Fear. And like Joe said, do you feel like you're betraying the memory somehow
Right.
of that person or whatever, you know?
Which in my mind, you're not.
No,
but
I don't think so. I have felt like that in the past after I've lost people, for sure. And I think maybe I'm just really well seasoned or something. But I think it's about your view on things too. And like, you know, we've said many times that you and I just we're not on the same page and as far as the spiritual side of things, and that's cool. But I think that's really what saves me a lot and or keeps me in complete denial. I don't know. But yeah, like I don't know. I'm so happy that like Deneen is free, Ethan is free, you know, and I want to experience some of that freedom from some of this shit too.
Yeah.
You know,
I get
and
that.
so you know, because it will keep you bound and gagged. You know.
Is it weird to like almost like this is some real like deep subconscious type shit that I'm thinking here, so try to follow me. But is it weird to think that like almost by not getting over it, and I'm not saying that either of us should be doing this. I'm not justifying not getting better. I'm just exploring a theory.
Okay.
By not getting better and staying in it and staying close to it and essentially wallowing in it, you're staying close to them.
I've been waiting for you to say that for months.
it sounds like an abusive relationship.
Yeah. I have been waiting for you to come with that. You're absolutely 100% nail on the head there. And Joe is right also.
Not to just
Yeah.
say 7 words and be like,
Yeah,
"Well, my
yeah.
thoughts,"
So,
but
because I've been in that space 100%. It makes you feel, the sadness is comforting. It makes you feel close for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's the last thing that you'll ever share with that person or shared because of that person, or I don't know. I don't really know why, but yeah, that is a great moment that you just had right there. So, I'm really proud of you for that. I'm full of compliments tonight.
You've just missed me. That's all.
I did miss you.
Is it that you feel guilty if you're not sad about your mom being dead, or
I don't know if
or
I
what?
just-
What is it that makes you want to stay in the angry, sad?
I don't know if it's that I want to stay in it specifically. It just feels like the only option to stay close
Mm,
to her.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you can't do that with positive thoughts, at least yet.
I don't. It feels like that's shutting the door, kind of. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. But it's just like
So if you say it out loud, like really hear yourself. If I don't allow the positive things from this happen, or if I don't see the light side of this or look at it in a positive way, I'm not close to my mom. Like,
thinking less about it, I'm forgetting more about
yeah.
it.
So when you say
in
it
turn
out
for-
loud, listen to that. You know what I mean? The rational side of you is just like, that's dumb, Justin. But the part of you that's protective of this thing that you're coveting, it's a powerful thing. That's why people are in this way for years. The support groups I've been to, you know, and I know I've told the story about the guy who was he was you, but only this had happened to him 17 years prior, but he was exactly here. And it really came down to like, I'm just afraid to like let go. I'm afraid to let go. And because it means, for some reason, we tell ourselves that by letting go that we're not allowed to be sad about it anymore, or we're not allowed to have, you know what I mean? Or like, we don't love them anymore, or we don't miss them anymore. Yes, we fucking do. We absolutely do. But I think it's about seeing both sides of the coin and kind of erring on the more joyful side of it sometimes. And by no means is this an intervention on Joe and I on you, but
Until we call in the
I
guy
don't want
from
to
the thing.
pretend. I don't want to come here and pretend that I'm farther along than I am.
yeah, no, and that's okay.
The whole point of this, no, I know, I'm just saying, like, for the people listening, like, I would feel like I was doing this entire show a disservice by being anything other than
Yeah.
honest.
And that's what I love, is just that we are in different spaces. We have both had these terrible things, but we're in different spaces, and it's watching this whole thing evolve is really cool. But I love your authenticity as far as like how shitty this still feels a year later.
pretty close to a year.
Yeah.
So do you, I don't know how to phrase this, but if you go a long stretch of not missing your mom, do you feel bad about that? Like, oh my God, I
No.
can't believe I didn't think about my mom
No,
or anything like that.
I don't think it's that
So-
severe.
Okay.
No.
It's not that crippling.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
get into the
yeah,
No,
yeah.
and I
headspace
appreciate
of
the
where you're
questions.
at,
No,
where it's like,
it's
oh my God, I
thought-provoking.
was enjoying this day. How could I let myself
That's why we
enjoy
like to
this
have you in
day?
here, because
Yeah.
you provoke thoughts that maybe
Yeah.
we wouldn't have.
I mean, I've definitely had moments where I've kind of stopped in my tracks. Like, I think I've said this before, like, you know, car dancing and just like belting out lyrics and just having a good old time. And then like having a moment of like, oh my God, I'm moving on.
Why am I allowing myself to
Holy
be
shit.
happy right
Yes.
And
I
then
am
And
moving
then here
on.
I am on the other side of the mixing board here, having the exact opposite moments where if I go a while where I'm cool and then I have a breakdown moment, I'm just like reminded, like, this isn't fucking over at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too, is that it's just like, you know, the moment where I was like, holy fuck, is this what moving on looks like? And then
And I'm like, is this what my life looks like now? Is this what I am?
But then I know that it will be a matter of time before I spin out again or cry or whatever. But they are longer stretches. It's, thank God, like, let's just take a moment to be so grateful that we aren't in the early days of this. Remember
Yeah.
how hard that was,
Right.
and the trudging
And
through
I will
that.
say, like, these are the moments that, you know, obviously, like, if when I have my days or my times, my wife's there, you know, but I don't want anyone listening to think that this is the mind frame I'm in all the time.
Yeah.
I would say I'm more okay than not.
Yeah.
That could be denial. There's always that film of it there. You know what I mean? It's always there, but like I'm telling jokes every weekend. I'm entertaining people. I'm functioning. I'm working a day job too. I'm being a husband. I'm keeping my dog alive. You know, I'm still being a friend to people. I'm doing this show.
I saw you ride the bike the other day.
Yeah. I'm trying to be health conscious when I can. I'm living. You know, I am living, but when we're here in this space, it gets very concentrated, I guess. And I hope everyone understands that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like there's been a few moments, Joe, where you're like, I'm a little bit worried about my friend here, like, and I appreciate the concern, I really do. But I want you also to know that, you know, I'm working on it.
You know, you mentioned you get this way in this space, and that's one of the things I had kind of jotted down as a note was like, because I don't know your situation. You're 24/7. Is there a way that you can take the grief portion and just say, you know what? I'm not going to be. I have things to do. I cannot be.
And sometimes that's
grieving
what it is.
right now. I cannot do that.
Sometimes I just don't have time to think about it.
And then schedule it and say, you know what?
Yeah.
Friday night from midnight to 12:37. That's going to be my time to grieve.
Yeah.
And I mean, it sounds dumb and it sounds like I'm
I
making
know
a joke.
people who do that.
But you know, you say this is the time that I'm going to give myself to grieve. I'm going to schedule it in my phone, grieving. And then the alarm will go off, and then
I'm gonna take my shirt off and have an ugly snot all over my chest, so I don't.
And then 12:37, grieving ends. You know, and you can snooze it once, and just so that way you can get it out, you can feel that way, but it doesn't dominate. But evidently, that's not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That's a great suggestion, though, because I do know people.
And
that
I
do
have a
that.
feeling for I don't know if that will work for me, but I assume that's something that will work for you know. I just like I said. I've said it before, for me, full-blown distraction is my best friend, because if I'm thinking about something else or I'm doing something else, I ain't doing that. And I'm able to do the things I need to do without that completely crippling me. And I think that's big. I think that's, you know, because there was that first, you know, if you were to go back and listen to the early episodes, one of the first ones we did was this haze that comes over you in the early days where you're just like,
The fog.
life doesn't even seem real.
Yeah.
Like you just don't give a shit about nothing.
Yeah.
And no one can make you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, good. Yeah, great. Sure. Yeah. What's another Tuesday? I'm sure it'll be another Wednesday tomorrow. I don't give a shit at all about any of that.
Oh my God. I know it's inevitable that I will find my way back to that space because people die, but I fucking hate that part.
Yeah.
That and the weeks, the early months of the emotional roller coaster. I mean, I feel way more stable. I'm picking up hitchhikers and shit.
Yeah, you know.
So I mean, I'm clearly still like a basket case, but you know, I'm not.
Right.
You just wanted to feel better about yourself. Like, look at this guy.
I'm in good shape over here.
But it is. It's like I said, for me, it's distraction. That being said, I have we do road gigs as our thing because 5 years into doing comedy, talking your friends and family into keeping coming to shows, it's just
Be like, oh, this joke. I love this punchline. Listen.
It's the same thing when you play music. You're like, come on, see the band. It's like, I've seen the band, man. I got shit going on. And but you drive 4 hours into Wisconsin and you're a rock star again. You know what I mean? These people don't know you, and we love that. But we do, you know, 3-4 features around here a year just to stay prevalent and do favors for the people that do favors for us. And we have a big feature show over in Clear Lake on June 4th, which is a year to the date. And I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know how I'm going to be that day, but I feel pretty confident
That's good.
that I can shut it off.
Yeah, you're a professional.
And
Or just schedule it for 12:37.
I love
but
that.
it's never been, you know, I remember it was, when was it? It was June 10th. So I only took 6 days off after she died. I was on stage 6 days later. I didn't realize that till I just said it out loud, how quick that was. I almost went to a show the night after, We had a show booked in Wisconsin.
But man, what is better medicine than doing what you love?
Right. And that's true,
And
but
bringing
I
other
was
people's-
such a wrecked piece of shit that next day.
Oh, I'm
that
sure.
I don't know that
Yeah.
I wasn't me.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what up from down, I don't think.
Yeah.
But so I skipped that one. Jake went by himself, but 6 days I was up and I was able,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I did it, and I was going to leave it alone,
Mm-hmm.
but Jake had to say something at the end of the show, you know, like, oh,
Do you think you'll say anything
I
at
don't
the
know
show?
if I should. I'm debating whether or not to say something at the surf. Because that's what, like we talked about on Mother's Day, like
Mm-hmm.
she would. That's pretty huge to her. You know, I just looked at the tickets today, and there's like 10 booths left. It's almost sold out.
It's gonna be a great show.
And that would have just been like, she'd have loved that so much.
Oh, touching on that, before we have to wrap up here, have you been exercising like the talking out loud thing to your mom? Like
I have a few times.
I have too, Joe.
I have a few
Your
times.
suggestion, I'm making sure I'm giving the gratitude where it's due, or I feel like it's due. Yeah,
And it works.
it does. It feels good. It feels really good.
I told her that, and maybe just the fact that I did it meant something.
Yeah.
But I said out loud, I said that I don't know what I think as far as where she's at, or if she can even hear me. I said, but if she can, and there's a way for her to in any way let me know that this is worth my time, I'm very open to that.
Yeah.
Nothing yet, but
Yeah. Keep asking.
yeah.
Yeah.
How are you going to know?
So I said out, told her, I said, I'm going to need to know.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be pretty blatant,
Yeah.
Mom. I'm pretty skeptical.
Yeah.
Prove it.
She wouldn't make somebody cut down a lilac bush
Right.
because that's pretty blatant.
That's
I don't
pretty. That's pretty blatant. Yeah.
I don't know.
That may have been her white dove.
But I
don't
say
know.
I say hi to the portrait of her in the living room a lot. I don't know.
Baby steps, man.
And it's for you. It's not
Right.
for her.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. I'm very aware of that.
Because she's loving where she's at right now. She's like, I always wonder what it's like for them. Like, I always imagine Ethan like when I'm just a blubbering mess and I'm just really struggling, like sort of like with this kind of like side grin, just like, I know it sucks, Mom.
Freaking moms. Look at this
look
chick.
at you, look at you're such a little bitch, But I and I don't know why I always see this image in my head, but it's just of him with a tilted head and like a side grin, like it's gonna be okay, Mom. Like I feel it. I mean, I feel it. I can see it. And I feel like every episode that we do, it sounds like I'm getting a little crazier, but it's just like, if I feel like in their minds, they're thinking, if you only knew what we know, that it's just going to be okay, but right now, but you're on Earth, and that's where the pain is. And that's where, that's the part of us as survivors, is that we have to carry all that. But I really feel like they're just looking at us like, you guys, it's going to be okay. And there's like soft, gentle whispers of just like, shh, it's going to be okay.
I think that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. It'll come. It'll come.
So maybe it's not a sign, it's a feeling.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll know.
Yeah, you'll know.
I'll know.
You'll know.
If it happens, I'll know.
Mm-hmm.
I won't ignore it.
Yeah.
But
So yeah. Big show coming up.
yeah,
Playing the surf.
big doings.
Bandfest weekend next
First,
weekend.
first live music at the Surf Ballroom post pandemic.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
You know how I like to do legendary shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Stuff no one else has done, like eat the last Subway at the mall before it closes down. And You know, just
You're aiming a little higher
real
this time.
epic
so.
stuff. So no, I'm.
Yeah.
It's very cool to be. It's not lost on me that I've been out of commission as far as being a musician goes for a long time, and the fact that we were offered this just to play the surf alone, but to do it on this type of scale is
Pretty cool.
pretty special.
Yeah.
And if it's it for me, if
Mhm.
it's the last one, as far as playing music in front of people, which I dedicated a very big part of my life to,
Mhm.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
That's awesome.
Because, I mean,
Yeah. Are
You
you on,
know?
Joe? You on to the show?
I'll see if I can make it.
yeah, you might have something. You might have
I think
to
I'm
be
busy.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, God,
You're
thanks
a
for putting me
busy
on the
guy.
spot.
Sorry. No, I don't
man.
know.
When you gotta be somewhere, you gotta
Yeah,
be somewhere.
there's
Like,
10 booths left, Joe.
it
Come
sounds,
on.
Sounds really good.
Because Joe knows enough people there, he could probably get put on some type of list or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could just make a phone call.
Yeah,
So,
But it's BandFest weekend, so
Yeah.
you got kids.
plenty
and-
going on.
Are you doing? Yeah, you probably got stuff going
yeah,
on.
we're
around town.
we're working the parade, doing some stuff with that, a little bit different this year. So
Mm-hmm.
excited about that. But yeah, I don't know. I got to check with the wife.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome.
I mean, if
Bailey,
we
if
can
you're
find
listening,
a-
y'all should come to the show.
If we can find a sitter,
Yeah. Who wants to babysit Joe's kids?
That's the
Yeah.
weird thing is like, I didn't realize that you were gonna be able to make it till we talked about it
Oh,
the other day.
oh, yeah. I had plans to be there before. I was just going to show up.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to tell you.
Yeah.
Just be like, yeah.
But it's so funny because it's almost like I said, like all the tables are sold out on the floor, a lot of the booths.
People love talking.
But I haven't talked a lot. Whatever, dude. But I haven't talked a lot to anyone that's been like, "Yeah, we have tickets." So I'm like, "Who's coming?" You know what I mean? Is
Yeah.
it going to be?
Oh, yeah. I know a
probably
lot of people
I
that are
don't know,
going. A lot of people that are
which
going.
is pretty cool. It was weird because we got together 2 years ago and we did Laredo's, we played at Laredo's a lot, and it went really well. You know, and like afterwards, there were people coming up to us and going, "I can't believe you guys are a band around here, and I didn't know about it. Coming to your next show for sure." And I'm just like, "No, you're
like,
not."
You're
No.
like 8 years too late.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
this
just
is
like,
it, man.
sorry. We used to do this like every other week. You missed it, buddy. But it is cool. It's fun to have that coming up because, like I said, it was always that moment was always pretty important to me. So.
And you know, there's something about the culmination of summer. Like once Band Festival hits. So for those of you that are listening, that don't know what Band Festival is, here in Mason City, we have a big parade to celebrate Meredith Willson, who was famous for the Music Man, the movie. And so we have a big celebration
He
around
also
town
won
about
the very first Grammy ever given out.
Oh,
Ever. I didn't know that.
And didn't he write this? No.
He's written
Never
some.
mind.
there's,
wrote a
there's
couple-
a lot of racist
He
connotation.
wrote a couple
in that.
really famous Christmas songs.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I was going to say the Star Spangled Banner, but
Yeah,
that's
right.
a
Yeah,
little
he called-
predating him. So
Pump the
Famous-
brakes on that one a little.
famous Christmas songs. I didn't know.
Yeah, I
that.
forget which ones exactly, but
White
ones
Christmas.
everyone knows. Is
He
that-
he wrote White Christmas.
I think so.
it might have
Well,
been that
yeah,
one.
because he was a racist, so that makes
Yeah,
sense.
he had a totally different meaning now.
I don't care who knows.
But yeah, it's a big beginning of the summer.
Yeah, so
blow
I'm
off
pumped
and
about that. Really pumped about that. So, yeah,
I guess we'll just try to focus on the positives, huh?
we can do that, and we'll carve out
I
this
guess that'll be my
space
goal.
for sadness.
Yeah, it's still got a big
And
old
we'll share it
cavernous
with all
hole in the
of you.
tree to hide in. No carving necessary.
Oh,
It's already weathered in there, eroded.
It's termites. It's a bad deal.
Oh man.
Listen. As always, it's just good to get in here. It's good to talk about feelings. It's good to have Joe. I love having Joe here.
It's
Love it.
beginning to look a lot like Christmas, not White Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'm not retracting my racist comment,
No,
but
Still racist.
Joe is he's a wealth of information.
Like I said, he provokes thoughts that maybe me and
Yeah.
you wouldn't. And
I'm not a deep
it's
thinker.
nice. Well,
Yeah. Well,
you have your moments.
I just talk a lot of shit. But anyway. So yeah, close us out, Mr. Paulson.
Yeah, I guess final thoughts are if you're holding on to stuff, I guess try to really step outside of it and evaluate if it's good for you or bad for you and
Love that.
what you need to do to make it all right. And if you feel like it's important and not hurting you, then don't let anybody make you feel otherwise, I guess. everybody shits their own shit, you know.
Well said. Well said. I like it.
I'm kind of awesome.
So humble. Joe, thanks for sitting in again.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Love having you.
Well, till next time, guys.
Hang in there.